It is August 28th, 1945, 12:06 a.m. The world is about to change forever. Not because the sun has exploded or an asteroid is hurtling towards Earth, but because two distant strangers have pressed the button. Somewhere in the middle of the deserts of New Mexico and the mountains of Nagasaki, brilliant flashes of light erupt into the night sky, marking the birth of the atomic age. Fast forward to today, and we now have 9 nations possessing this ultimate weapon of mass destruction, including bitter rivals India and Pakistan. While thankfully no country has used a nuclear weapon since 1945, there is always the lingering fear of mutually assured destruction hanging over our heads. So what if that worst-case scenario was to become a reality? What would happen if India and Pakistan were to go to war with each other? Pakistan and India share a long and complicated history. They were once part of the same country until they split in 1947, leading to the creation of modern Pakistan and the Republic of India. Since then, they've fought 3 wars, each one getting progressively less about what is essentially the same thing, land. And it isn't just land, but it's also a matter of principle for both sides. This ongoing dispute over Kashmir has been the source of multiple wars and is a constant thorn in the side of their relationship. There are also other territorial disputes, conflicting claims in the ocean, and a lot of historical baggage that neither country is willing to let go of. So if these two were to get into a massive brawl, what would happen? What happens when 2 nuclear-armed nations go to war? It may sound like a plot of a Hollywood action movie, but the effects would be very real and devastating. We're not talking about your typical warfare here, where there are clear distinctions between soldiers and civilians. When nuclear weapons are deployed, it's every person for themselves. A nuclear blast kills indiscriminately, making no distinction between who you are or what you stand for. If such a war were to occur, major cities like Delhi, Mumbai, Karachi, and Lahore would be targeted first. Within moments, tens of millions would perish, not just from the blasts themselves, but from the intense heat, radiation, and resulting fires. Major hospitals, schools, and other critical infrastructure would be obliterated, leaving the survivors without medical care, food, clean water, or shelter. And while the initial devastation would be focused in Southeast Asia, the impact would be far-stretching. After the dust settles, literally, we would enter a nuclear winter. Cities would be uninhabitable for years due to radiation poisoning, and the majority of the population would be wiped out. Crops fail and famine ensues. Without enough people to take care of the farmland, the world would quickly enter a mass starvation period. Those who didn't succumb to the nuclear blast or starvation would die from exposure to the cold. In the aftermath, the planet would be darker, colder, and hungrier. Our ecosystems, already fragile from decades of neglect, would suffer irreparable damage. Species would go extinct. Human civilization itself could regress by centuries if it survived at all. So the simple answer to the question is, don't even think about it. The complex answer is that it would be so horrible and devastating that we can only hope and pray it never happens. But why should you care about some nerdy science stuff, right? You wouldn't be wrong for thinking that. But here's the thing. It isn't just some abstract doomsday scenario. It's a stark reminder of the precarious situation we find ourselves in. 2 countries on the brink of nuclear war is not an uncommon headline. And the threat of mutually assured destruction has kept us on edge for far too long. Here's to hoping that reason prevails. We wouldn't have to wait for a full-blown war to feel the effects of climate change either. If you want to know more about it, we made a video about it.